So welcome and nice to see you on this Monday. I'm just going to give that a tiny bit of a polish on that because I think that might have looked a bit weird. That looks better. It just seems to be a little bit out of focus, everything. I hope it isn't at your end. Anyway, here we are. We're going to do a little bit of work now just to really lift energy up into the body. We're often quite aware of the breath, often down in the belly when you're doing yoga, also up in this kind of area. It's actually quite, how to say, challenging. So you're using then all of your breath capacity to really lift breath up and over the tops of the shoulders, having that sense as you do draw your energy up, but you're really allowing energy to lift up into the skull, into the head, and just kind of find a sense of buoyancy, I suppose you could call it, with the breath. So we're kind of working with a sense of using the in-breath this morning in three parts. The breath from here at the base of the body, up to, say, like around the mid-ribs or so, up to here, just below the heart. Then your second lot of breath rising up through the chest, up to just around the collarbones. And then the last part of your in-breath rising up to the shoulders, over the backs of the shoulders, also feeling the sense of just cleansing, lifting up into the crown of the head. And that obviously, as you breathe like that, it lifts the spine. There's that natural rise of the spine. And then as you breathe out, just that lovely sense of decompression, drawing back down to earth. Why are we doing this? Because in your breath, it really is the flow of your life. If you don't breathe, there's no life. And so as you breathe in more fully, consciously, just to see how that energy kind of moves around the body. In yoga terms, you've got this sense of prana, which is like your life force. So your breath is your prana, you draw it into the body. And then the prana kind of just works around the body to really bring animation, to bring life, to bring awareness, consciousness, the whole works into this architecture. So we're trying today to, in a way, draw the energy in and then just let it rise up through us. So hands on the lap, or else you can place them on the knees. And just getting a comfortable seat. You can keep your eyes open for this if you'd like to. And feel your seat and your roots down with the earth. Now just take a few really nice deep breaths here. And as you breathe, I think we almost automatically become aware of the breath at the front of the body. I'd like you to become aware of the breath behind you and to the sides. So you're feeling your breath in all dimensions. Now just bring some awareness now to the flow of your in-breath through the body. And as you breathe in, just follow it up. Allow it to just release out. You don't need to put any strain or stress into the breath, just breathing in. Breathing out, in and out through nose, deeply shy breath. Now as you reach the height of your in-breath, now just see if you can put a little bit of a pause into that in-breath. So you're breathing in. Just a little bit of a pause, the breath's inside the body here. And then when you're ready to, breathing out. Do another few rounds. In-breath, pause, and out. Do follow your own breath count here, your own breath flow, rather than having to wait for mine. We'll do one more. And now moving on to the next stage, we're now separating the breath out into these 3 layers. So breathing in, pausing for a second, breathing in a little bit more, pausing for a second, and breathing up to the top of the lungs, just a momentary pause, and out goes the breath. Don't feel you've got to use your hands here, I'm just using to demonstrate. So another in-breath, up, another in-breath, lift up, and the last part of that in-breath, up, and releasing back down. So we're going to do a few rounds here with that 3-part breath, and just that little space before you kind of draw up to the next level. In your own time. Breath releasing back down. If you need to take a little bit of a rest in between rounds, then do feel free to do so. Otherwise, just going on with another few rounds, this 3-part breath. In breath, pausing, again lifted up, pausing. Fill up even a little bit fuller, pausing. Then releasing it all the way out, emptying as much as you can. Do one more round. Just notice the feeling of doing that as you just come back into a natural breath now. There's any sense of having kind of lifted the mind a little bit, opened up the space within the body. Another round of breath. And your knees coming up. And from there, coming onto all fours. So you're arriving on all fours, a nice neutral spine here, so you are lifting up through the belly to support the back of the spine. Feet on the flats of the floor here. And with your out breath, you're curving up. And your in breath, you're lifting up through the body all the way up into your chest. So there's a sense of this chest part of the body just shining, stretching out in front of you. Another out breath. Into your in breath, lengthen out through the spine to the chest. Draw back again. Into another in breath. And then with your next in breath, again doing this breath in 3 parts. So in breath, feel the breath up to the base of the ribs, base of the heart. Breathing in, lift up a bit fuller, lift up and into your shoulders with the breath. Just letting your out breath follow. Another in breath. Third wave full. 2/3 full. 3/3 full. All full. Coming back again. So again, the first third from the base. Pausing. 2/3. Pausing. And the final third. And holding the breath inside. Drawing shoulders back here, like you're pulling your shoulder blades back down the spine. And then into the out breath, releasing all of that breath out. One last round. And into the out breath. Just a couple of rounds here now of normal cat and cow, just easing into your spine. And taking another breath here, and then your toes tucking under, and we're lifting up and into down dog. Bit of bend through your knees as you first arrive in down dog this morning, and think about drawing your thighs up and back. See that just gives you a bit more space along the spine. Now root down into your index finger, your thumb. Breathing in, breathing out. The next in-breath, bending your knees and drawing your sit bones as far back as you can, so you're crouching. Breathe out and you're going to step, jump, walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Offering your spine, breathe in. And breathing out into forward fold. And you're drawing the spine down the length of the legs, at the same time lifting up the backs of the legs up into the sit bones like there's a cord here pulling them up towards ceiling. Give yourself another few breaths here. Final round of breath. And coming to rise. Take your time to ease up, rolling up the spine, the arms floating up. And out breath, arriving into the heart. So, using this three-part breath again, with your in-breath, your arms floating up to shoulder height. Turn the palms, another part of that in-breath, arms coming up to a V, to first floor. And the final third, palms together, the gaze can turn up softly there. And your out breath, arriving down the center line. Into another round, first third of the in-breath. The second third. And the final third. And as your palms connect to the top, just pausing there, just as long as it feels comfortable. And then pressing the palms together, drawing them back to the heart. Into another round. Do one more. Keeping it all as smooth as you can. Don't feel you've got to strain with the breath. It can just be almost like a constant flow. The pause is almost imperceptible. And out breath, arriving back into the heart. And there at the heart, just starting to face off to the top of your mat. And we're taking 3 to 5 rounds of just natural Ushari breath down into your belly. Your breath rising all the way up, and your breath releasing downwards. Take a final round here together. And then this time your arms floating up. Deep in breath. Lift up into the palms, turn the gaze up. Feel that stretching out through the body here as you root downwards with your feet. And just slightly draw your belly inwards towards the base of your spine. Another in breath. And then with your out breath, you're folding down your center line, letting the spine hang downwards, dividing into forward fold. In breath, offering your spine forward, lift up to fingertips, hands on the knees, the shins, your version, looking forward. And with your out breath, arriving back and into down dog. Again, lift up through your thighs, up and back. And then as you breathe in, balancing up onto the toes, the balls of the feet, start to bring the spine forward. You'll arrive into plank. Now, make sure you lift up your belly here so you're supporting the base of the spine. Look forward, breathe in. Keep the body as strong as you can here. Either drop down onto your knees to come down, or slowly, slowly, slowly lowering down to the floor, onto the flats of the feet. In breath into cobra, then coming back down. Another in breath into cobra, coming back down. And a final round here, this time coming into down dog. With your in breath now, your right foot's going to float up. Point your toe as it floats up there. Keep your hips as level as you can and see if you can root back into your left heel. So the foot heel on the ground. Another in breath. And then right knee coming through, up to your core. Keep the foot lifted. Draw the body open and forward. Another breath. Lifting up and back. Point it out again. Letting it float slowly, slowly, no rush. Following the breath back down. On to the other side. So left leg's going to float up. Point the toes as it arrives. Remember to keep your hips as level as you can here. Your next in breath. The left knee coming through into the core. The spine will come forward a bit here, so you're almost in a plank shape here. We're drawing up into your core. Keep the control through the belly. Lifting up and back, breathing in. Take your time to point out into that foot, that left foot. Another breath. And left foot floating back down. With your in breath, bend your knees, draw your sit bones back, so you're crouching down, your out breath up to the top of the mat. In breath, softening spine, out breath, folding. Coming to rise now, lift all the way up, arms floating up above you, bringing them down the center line into the heart. Three-part breath with the arms now. In breath to shoulder height. Next part of the in breath, up to the V. Final part of the in breath, palms above the head. And your out breath into your forward fold. Offering your spine. Breathe in. And breathing out, coming back again into down dog. Lift up and back into your sit bones here. Draw upwards into your spine, and then with your in-breath, coming forward slowly again into your plank. Now feel the weight transferring down to your hands, and really ease backwards into your heels. And kind of see there, if your heels aren't easing backwards, the knees will want to bend. Feels quite top heavy there. So lifting up and back into heels, steady lifting. Either drop down now onto the knees, or slowly, slowly, slowly lowering down to the mat. Give yourself a couple of resting breaths here. You turn your head to one side. Over to the other side. Coming back to the centre line, a 3-part cobra now. So breathing in, lifting up a little bit. Breathe in a bit further. Lift up a bit further. The last part of your in-breath. Lifting up fully. Coming back down. Take a resting breath or so in between. We're going to do, say, 2 to 3 more rounds. So in your own time, partial in-breath, a bit more in-breath, and up into the fullest part of the in-breath. And floating back down. One more time. And arriving back down on the mat now, interlace your fingers behind your spine. You're resting them on your sacrum. And now draw your shoulder blades back, lifting up the arms, breathing in, looking forward, lifting up the chest. One more round. Arriving back down, hands under the shoulders. In breath into a cobra. And out breath, easing up and back into child. Your arms are stretched out here in your child, and you're bringing the forehead down to the floor. If you prefer to put a block or cushions or blanket underneath the forehead, so you bring the floor up to you a little bit, and do feel free to do that. And now with your next out breath, let it escape through your mouth. So really let that out breath out of the body. In breath, back onto all fours. Arriving on all fours, you're going to take around 5 rounds of breath into cat and cow, however you feel to kind of use this moment, just to ease into your spine. So do feel free to pick up a weight, bigger of 8, put a bit of sway into it, staying still with it, whatever's going to be useful to you now, here. And then, from those breaths, coming back into your cat and cow, now following your in-breath up through the front of the body, up into the back of the spine. And then just letting your out-breath arrive in the wake of that new breath. Another round, slow in-breath. Let it really fill up through the front of the body, the back of the body. And then your out breath will follow. One more round. And out breath this time, up and into down dog. And at the height of your out breath, then just let the last bit out through the mouth. Right leg floating up. Pointing your toes on the right foot, and this time we're swinging the foot through between the hands. Taking your time as you do so. You're balancing on the ball of the back foot, so you're in a high lunge here. Look forward and lengthen out through the body. Just make sure you've softened your neck here. Now lunge as deeply as you can into this front knee, so it's drawing forwards. Keep rooting back into that back heel, so you're really straightening, lifting up through the back of the thigh, through the belly, and dropping that back knee down to the mat. Now we're coming up into Anjaneyasana, toes tucked under here. With your in-breath, your arms floating up. With your out-breath, down the centre line. We're coming into the three-part breath now, the next couple. So in-breath, shoulder height, pause, lifting a bit higher, breathing in, pause. The final part. And down the centre line. One more round. Hands coming to the mat now, and you're riding up and back into your down dog. Back into down dog, just ease out, put a bit of sway into the hips from side to side. And getting ready for the other side. So in breath, your left foot now lifting up behind you, it's floating up. And then as you breathe out, swinging it through between hands, we're just stepping, adjusting the feet there. And you're back into your high lunge. So again, you're lunging forward on this front knee, at the same time lifting up this back thigh. So you're really lengthening out through the body. Looking forward, breath also draw up into your belly. And then, with that front knee easing forward, the back knee dropping down. Lifting up, just one normal breath with arms floating up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Back to heart. 2 rounds now for 3-part breath. Breathing in. Breathing in a little bit more. Breathing in. Hands coming down, and you're easing up and into your down dog again. Take your time to lie there, breathing in, bend your knees, draw the sit bones all the way back, and your out breath coming up to the top of the mat. In breath off your spine, and out breath folding. Give yourself another couple of breaths here in your Uttanasana. Just letting the spine decompress here. And then, with your next round of in-breath, starting to come up to rise, your arms circling out around you. And arriving back in the heart, we'll now drop the arms down to the sides of the body. And we're just letting the breath settle here for a few rounds into dandasana. But as you stand into dandasana, still keep this sense of your in-breath, energy rising up along the trunk of the body, all the way up to the skull. And so as you breathe out then, a bit like a fountain of water rising up, then that energy, that breath is flowing back down. Your energy is back down to the floor, to the earth. One more round here. Belly to spine and a 3-part breath, arms floating up on the in-breath. Into your forward fold as you breathe out. In-breath off your spine and your out-breath back into down dog. In-breath easing up and forward into plank. Just pausing there, stabilize the body there, look forward, ease back to your heels, move down to your hands. Either dropping knees down, coming down, whilst a slow lowering. If you can, just hover off the floor for a second. Do so. And then in-breath, into cobra. Out-breath, easing up and back into down dog again. And this time we're coming through into warrior one. So breathing in, right foot floating up. And breathing out, that right knee's coming through and forward into warrior one. Now you're flipping your back foot down here. You can either make sure the heel of the front foot lines up with the arch of the back foot, or else take that left foot a little bit wider, so you're more on train tracks rather than a tightrope walk. Now, before we come up here, just looking forward and become aware of the positioning of your hips. So you want this right hip to draw back. And as you draw that right hip back, you'll notice it will encourage your left hip to kind of rotate forward. So the front of the body has this feeling of being level. And we want to kind of find that sense. Turning your back foot in on a bit more of an angle helps. Now root into your back heel, really root into it. Breathe in, lifting up. Just stabilize your balance here. So you really feel the spine lifting from the base of the body. Now we're all going to now breathe out and lunge forward a bit deeper on that front knee. It's traveling out in the direction of your second toe. Keep drawing this right hip back. Easing your left hip forward. Almost like this is kind of opposite action through the hips. Keep the lunge deep. 3-part breath with the arms. Breathe in, shoulder height. Breathe in again, pausing. Breathe in the final part. And back down into the heart. 2 more. Final one. Know you've got it in you here. In breath. And now transition into warrior two. Right arm forward, left arm back. Just soften your shoulders here. Lovely. Breathe into reverse warrior. Slow, gentle movements here. And coming into a side stretch. So your right hand can either cross over the knee, your left arm reaching up and forward, or else this right hand can come down to the floor. One more breath. And left hand down to the mat. And you're making your way up and back into down dog here. Now, either just pausing in down dog, coming into child. We have it in you for another vinyasa, do feel free to do so, just taking your time, lowering down. And one way or another, we all meet back into down dog. Deep breath out through the mouth. On your next in breath, left foot floating up, and the left foot's coming between the hands. Now slow, steady movements here, no rush with the movement. However you're finding your way to the base of warrior one, just taking time, keeping it steady, smooth. And now here we're just pausing again, gaze forward. Now finding that anchoring on this front knee, you can hinge forward a little bit, you can hinge back a bit, hinging forward again, the knee traveling in the direction of the second toe. And then again, this sense of drawing this left hip back, and at the same time, the right hip is easing forward. Now root back into your back heel, another breath, and starting to lift up and back. You're arriving in your warrior one, and we're all now, as we breathe out, going to lunge forward a bit deeper on that front leg. Another breath, belly to spine. 3 rounds of breath again, in 3 parts. Anchoring into your back heel. Final one. Keep your feet as steady as you can here. Transitioning out into warrior two. The arms float over, the shoulders soften. Keep the feet firm. Breathe in fully. Breathe out. Breathe in. Lift up and back into your reverse warrior. And into the side stretch. Either the front arm down to the front thigh, and the arm stretching up and over, or else left hand down. And right hand down. And you're rising back and into down dog. Breathe in and lift up into your sit bones. And breathing out, we're finding our way down to the floor, arriving in child, arms stretched out in front of you. Now your shoulders as you arrive in child. Allow your shoulders to soften. Rising up and back onto all fours again. You thread your right arm underneath left now, taking you to the left temple. Breathe in and your right arm will lift up. Another in breath, breathing out, right hand comes down on top of the left. Right hand back down to the floor, left hand up, onto the other side, right hand underneath the left, down onto the right temple, and your left hand lifting up. Then, with your next breath, bring the left hand down so it comes on top of the right palm for a breath or so. Left hand down, right hand joining this again. Give yourself again 5 rounds of just free movement on all fours. Now, I've got a little bit of a choice here. If you're feeling like quite tired on this rather rainy, wet autumn day, then do feel free to spend a few breaths in child or another restorative asana. So you could lie with your legs up the wall and just have a few breaths in Viparita Karani. So bottom close to the wall, legs straight up, and you're just resting there or in child. If you feel you've got a little bit more oomph in you this morning, then bringing your block down to the floor here, and you're interlacing your fingers into a fist and just placing them in front of your block. Use the long edge of the block here. Now, breathing in, you're lifting up into a down dog on your forearms. Do make sure your elbows are directly beneath your shoulders. Just have to adjust there. And now, if you can, you're going to walk your feet in a little bit. You're going to feel it a bit on the forearms here, it's quite strength building. Now, there's quite a lot going on here, I'm finding as I'm demonstrating. If you still want to go another step further, breathe in, take a sip from the blue block here, a nice drink there, come back out. Breathe in, come forward. So you're taking a drink from your block, breathe out. If you really want to, you can do another round. Breathe in and breathe out. Now just easing the last few breaths in your dolphin here. Lift up into your sit bones, lift up off your heels, coming down, arriving into child. If you're up against the wall, start to think about coming down as well. If you're in child, just enjoy hanging for a few breaths more. On the floor, just allowing the arms to relax, shoulders to relax, forehead to relax down. And slowly finding your way up and into sitting. So legs out in front of you now, toes flexing up to ceiling, and we're going to bend the right knee. Now you can either just bend it by the side of the left leg. If you want to, you can cross it over to the opposite side. You're hugging in that right knee with your left arm as tightly as you can to your core. Now right hand's just slightly behind. Now before we come into twisted, see if you can lift up into your spine. So both hips are facing forward here. We're not trying to rotate here. Breathe in and lift up through your spine. Really press down firmly through that right leg, right foot. Another in-breath, lifting up. And then, as you breathe out, from that height through the spine, then you're twisting. Don't turn the gaze over yet. Just come into the fullness of that twist. Relax that right shoulder down. Flex our toes of the left foot. Follow the breath up and through the spine. And then last up, you can just turn the gaze towards the right shoulder. Come back to your center line. And you're letting this right leg stretch out in front of you. Left foot crossing over the right. So just make sure you're on the top of your sit bones if you can. You almost have this go of bringing the flesh up and back out behind you. And then you're hugging in that left knee as tightly as you can. Left hand's behind. Now before we go any further, flexing the right foot up a little bit, activating the back of the leg. Lift up, both hips facing forward. Breathe up through your spine. When you're ready to rotate, bend, allowing yourself to come into twist. And last off, the gaze can turn over the left shoulder. And you're arriving back in your center line. Hands to the sides of the body here. Coming into dandasana here, first of all. Lovely. And we'll just take a few breaths here, lifting up through the spine. 3-part breath here. Breathe in, pause. Carry on the in-breath. Pause. Final part of your in-breath. And drawing the palms back down to the heart. Into another round. In-breath. Third full. Next third. And into the final part. One more round, your own speed. And hands, when you finish, coming down to the sides of the body, bending your knees and you're riding onto the spine, knees into the chest. Hands coming over the tops of the knees. Breathe in and draw your knees away from you. Breathing out, they're coming back in. Just rocking forwards and backwards on the lower spine. Your next round of breath. Feet coming down to the mat. And with feet down to the mat, arms are going to come out into a cactus shape, a kind of Y shape up above the head. Now, breathing in, you're going to start to root down into your feet. You're lifting up into a bridge. Let your chin draw away, rise away from the chest. Just pausing there, keep breathing fully. And with your out breath, starting to peel the spine back down again to the floor. So 3-part breath here. Breathing in, a little bit of a lift, pausing, breathing in, a bit more, And again, lifting up, pausing, and arriving back down. So we're going to do one more round here. In your own time, 3 parts, pausing up at the top here. Just keep breathing there, out breath, in breath, up at the top. Just breathing there fully in your bridge. If you still have that last little bit of energy you want to use up here, then breathing in, left arm floats up. Keep the lift, breathe out, left foot down, breathe in, right leg floats up, breathe out, right foot floats down. Lift again, and breathing out, rolling the spine back down. Knees hugging in, hands on the knees, and however you like to just release out your lower spine, just rocking a little bit one side to the other. And then when you're ready to, you can stretch out the legs in turn. And we're riding into Shavasana, arms wide, sides of the body. And letting the body breathe freely here. Natural rhythm of breath. Taking a big in-breath, really breathe out fully through the mouth. On your next in-breath, if you then bring the arms up over the head, breathing out through the mouth again. Bringing your arms back down again. And when you're ready to move, if you then bend knees, come over to your right hand side. And finding your way, when you're ready, up and into a comfortable seated position. Hands resting on the knees when you arrive. We'll just come into a final few rounds of this 3-part breath today. So first of all, like us at the start, just finding the contact of the top of the sit bones downwards to the earth, to your block. Then in breath, the breath rising up, a third of the way, pausing. Another third, pausing. And the final third. And when you're ready to release the breath, allowing it to leave the body, really fully empty the body. And we'll do 2 more rounds. When you finish those rounds, your breath coming back to its natural rhythm. And from that place, hands coming up to the heart, feeling contact, thumbs with the chest. And bowing forwards, setting whatever intention of gratitude, affirmation you would like to within your life. And breathing into that 3 times to yourself. And coming up when you're ready. Thank you.